So you want to heal your first dungeon in World of Warcraft? You have come to the correct video, as I will help you through your first dungeon in no time. The healer is the backbone of every group in World of Warcraft. They are tasked with keeping their group alive to all the dangers that is group content. And the thought of carrying this responsibility on your shoulder may look daunting at first, but I'm here to guide you through it step by step for your first few dungeons. Ready? Let's begin. First off, pick any of these classes when creating your character. If you have not yet decided, keep watching the video as I will give a quick rundown on each of these classes and how they play as a healer. Once inside the game, get your character to level 10 and when prompted to choose a specialization, select the healer one indicated with the healer icon. You can swap specializations at any time in case you want to try some of the other ones later. As a healer, an important thing to know is who you need to heal, and following UI tips will help you a great deal with that. First off, hit the escape button until the options menu pops up and click the edit mode. This will allow you to edit your UI. The two most important things right now are the party frames and this talking heads box. Move the talking heads box somewhere away from the middle of your screen, I prefer the top left, and then click on your party frames. Click on use raid style party frames and move them closer to the middle of your screen around where your character is. I like to have this below my character and use a horizontal layout, but you can use whatever works for you. Play around with the width and the height until you are satisfied with the size on them. Click on the raid frame settings button and enable power bars, class colors, pets, and change the display health text to health remaining. If you are new to the game, you can turn this option on to only show dispellable debuffs, although I would not really recommend this. Now that your frames are set up, there are two more things I would like to discuss before we jump into our first dungeon. The first one is your resource, which for all healers will be mana. If you run out of this, you will not be able to cast any heals anymore, so keep an eye out on your mana bar. To refill this quickly outside of combat, you can visit a local inn and buy some drinks. Make sure to let your tank know in chat that you are taking a mana break. Although most tanks will ignore this, at least you can say that you've warned them. Talking about tanks, they will take the brunt of the damage in most of the dungeons, and keep enemies from attacking the rest of the team, so keep an eye out for them. You can spot them easily by the shield icon on their party frame. And lastly are dispels. When you see any of these icons pop up on an allied frame, it means that they have a specific detrimental effect on them called debuffs. These can range from immobilizing them to dealing hefty amounts of damage, so you want to get rid of these if you can, or focus some healing on them if you can't. Depending on what your class can dispel, you can use your dispel ability to remove these debuffs. All healers can dispel magic effects displayed with the blue swirly icon, while poison, disease, curse and bleed can only be dispelled by specific classes. With this out of the way, you are ready to go. Click the dungeon finder icon, select the healer role and sign up for any dungeon. Let's look at all the healer specializations and see what they bring to the table when you bring them into a dungeon. First up is the priest, which is the only class with two healer specializations. Holy is your typical straightforward healer, which uses the holy light to replenish the life of their allies, and can even heal for a short while after perishing with their angel form. The main tools you start out with are Renew, heal over time effects, Prayer of Mending, which will heal a target after they take damage, and then fly to another ally, repeating the same effect. Flash Heal is your standard heal, taking some time to cast and healing your target, while Holy Word Sanctify will heal all allies in an area of your choosing. Hit the keybind for this ability and the target marker will appear, which you can place down on your ally's position to heal them. In dungeons, keep your Renew up on the tank and use Prayer of Mending on them when they are going to take damage, while using Flash Heals when you see people dipping low around you. If the group is close together and taking damage, consider using a Holy Word Sanctify on the area to top everyone off. The second healer spec for Priest, Discipline, is considered by many to be quite difficult. However, in dungeons they are not as daunting as they seem. Discipline has strong shields to protect their allies, while also using their own damage to heal them even further. The core of this spec is Atonement, a passive buff you place on your allies by healing them with direct abilities. This buff will transfer part of your damage to those allies as healing. In dungeons, keep your power word shield up on the tank when you can and use Renews to heal your allies over time and apply Atonement. With Atonement buffs up on your ally, blast your damage abilities like Smite and Mind Blast into your enemies and see your allies' HP increase. If someone is in real trouble, you can rely on Flash Heal to help top them off. As soon as you can, pick up the power word Radiance talent, as this will heal your entire party and apply Atonement to everyone. Follow this up with some damage and your group should be topped in no time. Priests can dispel magic and disease effects with the appropriate talent, so keep an eye out for the blue magic and the yellow disease icon. If you would rather run around with a melee, with a giant mace, and feel like a true combat medic, then maybe the Holy Paladin is a way forward for you. This is the only healer we will discuss in this video, which has a secondary resource other than mana, namely Holy Power. Alongside your regular casted heals like Holy Light and Flash of Light, you can generate some Holy Power using offensive and some healing abilities to allow you to cast even more heals. Judgment and Crusader Strike will deal damage to enemies and generate Holy Power, which can then be used on Word of Glory if a single target needs healing, or Light of Dawn when your party needs healing. Your Holy Shock can be used to either deal damage or heal, on top of generating Holy Power. You use this in whichever way fits the current situation. At level 16, you will get Beacon of Light, duplicating all your heals on the target you have beaconed. First thing you want to do when getting into a dungeon is activating Devotion Aura, as this will reduce all damage taken by the party. Place your Beacon of Light on the tank and get up close and personal with the enemies, as your heals get stronger the closer you are to your target. Use Crusader Strike and Judgment when the party is healthy to generate some Holy Power, and use Holy Shock's healing effect to top off people if needed. Once you have 3 or more Holy Power, keep an eye out for opportunities to cast your Word of Glory or Light of Dawn depending on the situation. In need of some extra healing when you are out of Holy Power, some Flash of Lights or Holy Lights will cover you there. And on top of their magic dispels, Paladins can also get rid of the green poison and the yellow disease debuffs. Prowling over to the Druid, our shapeshifting and nature-loving friends, they have you covered when it comes to healing as well. Using nature's power to heal their allies, they focus on effects that heal over time, also known as HOTS, as their main source of healing. Thanks to their passive harmony, the more healing over time effects you have up, the stronger they get, so keep them coming. Rejuvenation is a slow healing over time effect, while Regrowth has both the initial heal and the heal over time effect after that, at the cost of a short cast time. For healing multiple targets, Wild Growth will plant healing seeds in all nearby allies, slowly regenerating their health. And if those were not enough, Life Bloom gives you another strong healing over time effect, which bursts even more healing when the effect expires. However, you can only use this on one party member at any given time, so choose wisely. For any close calls, you can use Swift Mend, which will remove one of your hot effects on the target to do massive healing instantly instead. When starting a dungeon, make sure you use your Mark of the Wild spell to buff your allies with 3% versatility, reducing their damage taken and increases their damage done. Keep Life Bloom and Rejuvenation up on the tank at all times, and use Wild Growth if multiple members of the group are taking damage. See anyone taking a sudden dip? No worries, use Swift Mend if they have a hot active on them, or push out a quick regrowth to get them back up. Aside from the standard magic dispels, Druids can also dispel the purple curse debuffs and the green poison debuffs. For all you Avatar lovers out there, the Waterbending Shaman is a perfect way to fulfill that fantasy. Using the restorative nature of water and their totems to their advantage, and a mastery that heals more if your target is low on HP, they are a great addition to any group. Their standard single target heal is Healing Surge or Healing Wave, accompanied by the instant cast Riptide, which heals instantly and leaves a hot on the target. An Earth Shield will protect one target and heal them whenever they take damage, alongside increasing your healing done to them. Their unique Chain Heal will chain water between multiple ally targets, healing each of them for a substantial amount. When in dungeons, keep Earth Shield active on the tank and use Riptide to heal allies that are losing some HP. If your group is taking heavy damage, slam that Chain Heal button and see the bounces top up your party members. But beware that the bounces have a limited range. Shamans can dispel magic and curses once talented into it, so keep looking for that purple icon. Have you ever aspired to become Kung Fu Panda or a Beyblade? Either way, the Mistweaver Monk will sort you out. Mistweaver Monks use their chi to generate invigorating mists around their allies, magically removing their wounds. Being a master of the martial arts, Mistweavers are usually played on the front lines with their melee allies, and will have a generous mix of dealing damage and healing their friends. Soothing Mist will channel a beam of mist to your target, healing them over time, but more importantly allowing you to instantly cast Enveloping Mist, a strong heal over time effect on that target. It also allows you to instantly cast Vivify, which is another strong single target heal. Your Renewing Mist will fly around to targets in need of healing, while Essence Font will provide a strong burst of group healing where needed. And if you're in trouble yourself, a quick Expel Harm will heal you up and damage your enemies with a portion of the healing done by it. When in dungeons, keep Renewing Mist floating around, as this will find allies in trouble automatically, and don't be afraid to get into the fray with some damaging abilities. If you see singular allies taking damage, channel a Soothing Mist on them, and while channeling, use either just a Vivify or an Enveloping Mist plus Vivify if the target is taking very heavy damage. When a group is in trouble, use Essence Font and see your allies' health bar stick back to full. Monks can dispel magic as well as poison and disease when talented into it, so keep an eye out for those green and yellow disease icons on your group. And with that, we've covered all the healers that I wanted to cover in this video. Explained in a nutshell, just enough for you to go into your first dungeon and heal. As you level up, you will unlock more and more abilities and interaction between those abilities, so keep an eye out for how those can be applied to your advantage. Thank you all very much for watching, and if you have any questions or requests for further guides, let me know in the comments below. Bye bye.